National Elections Commission, Madam Chairperson, Madam Co-Chairperson, and members of the Board of Commissioners, the ECOWAS President, Representative to Liberia, Ambassador Joseph Nkrumah, local and international observer missions in Liberia, the Association of Liberian Journalists in the America of ALJA for short, members of the Religious Council here present, the Secretariat of the National Elections Commission, partners of the NEC, UNDPDR, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate. Once again, we are pleased to welcome you on the compound of the National Elections Commission and to this daily press briefing following the 2023 general elections. The chairperson of the National Elections Commission is Madam Divieta Brown-Lansalam, who will now address this conference. Madam Chairperson.
In recognition of United Nations Day, I invite you to please stand for a moment of reflection. As the United Nations celebrates another year of unity and sustainable development toward global peace, the National Elections Commission of Liberia is reminded about NEC's commitment to this year's UNDA theme, quote, "Action for Peace," unquote, by conducting free, fair, transparent, inclusive, and credible elections. The Commission's commitment to peace is also to put at the disposal of all candidates in the 10th October 2023 presidential and legislative elections the electoral dispute resolution mechanism through which their grievances will be heard and resolved according to the law. The words of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, quote, "Peace is needed today more than ever before," unquote, stressing that, quote, "It is our responsibility to help build that world of peace, sustainable development, and human rights for all," unquote. Happy UN Day to all. Madam Co-Chair, fellow commissioners, distinguished stakeholders, fellow Liberians, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission and to the Commission's daily press briefings. In today's briefing, the Commission will announce results of the elections in Nimba County District number 4, Vilontuo, and the final nationwide results for the presidential, senatorial, and representative outcomes of the 10th October 2023 general elections. Members of the press, as you are aware, on 10th October 2023, Liberians went to the polls to elect their leaders, including a president and vice president, 15 senators, and 73 representatives. Election day, 10th October 2023, was characterized by a record high turnout of 1,947,155 voters, which constitutes 78.86% of the 2,471,617 total registered voters. This huge turnout is unprecedented in Liberia's modern democratic election history and is due in part to the Commission's successful transition from optical mark recognition OMR system to voter registration to the use of biometric technology for the registration of voters, which produced an excellent final registration roll for the 10th October elections. The Commission notes that these elections attracted much attention from some 10,000 national, regional, and international long-term and short-term observers that were accredited by the Commission to observe the elections. These observers were deployed across the 15 counties of Liberia, and they took stock of how the NEC implemented international standards and electoral best practices in conducting the elections in Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, following the close of the 10 October polls, the Commission, in its daily press briefings, informed Liberians and stakeholders about post-election day happenings, ranging from disruption of tally processes across the country to electoral malpractices by some temporary staff recruited by the NEC, specifically at the Monserrado Tally Center at the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex. 5 temporary staff allegedly involved in malpractices were arrested by the police. Similarly, in Grand Cape County, 4 NEC temporary workers were arrested by the police for alleged electoral malpractices. In both cases, they were remanded into custody pending court trial. The names of these temporary workers are quarantined in the NEC database as they will not serve in any future elections in Liberia. In Nimba County, District Number 4, 2 polling places in Precinct Build on Tool witnessed the disruption of the counting process when some individuals made away with ballot boxes, damaging their contents in the process. This led to the rerun of the 3 elections at the 2 affected polling places in that precinct. Despite these and other challenges, the Commission notes the completion of counting, tallying, and collation of the results from the 20 October 2023 elections in Build on Tool. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, before proceeding with the announcement of the results of the Commission of the elections, the Commission expresses thanks and appreciation to Liberians for voting in huge numbers. The Commission also extends its thanks to the United Nations ambassadorial missions to Liberia, the African Union and ECOWAS Commission for providing technical data and IT support, as well as logistical and other equipment and materials which strengthen the capacity of NEC to deliver on these elections. These partners are also appreciated for their intervention through various mechanisms, including the National Steering Committee on Elections, which advocated for the Commission's readiness to conduct the 10 October polls. The Commission also applauds the Ministry of Justice and the Joint Security for their steadfastness in maintaining peace, yea, their proactive and reactive responses to incidents that could have permanently disrupted the electoral process, but for their timely interventions. To the temporary staff, as well as NEC employees and the NEC management team, we thank you for your diligence in the preparation and execution of your duty during the conduct of the 10 October polls. To the owners of properties that were used as voting precincts, the Commission remains grateful to you for your patriotism and selfless love for country. The Commission also applauds the general public and the general support of international, regional, and local organizations, including Democracy International, Leon, ESA, ECC, etc., to the over 10,000 national, regional, and international observers who observed the 10 October 2023 presidential and legislative elections. The Commission's final commendation goes to the political parties and candidates generally for their peaceful participation in the 10 October polls. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, there now are the presidential, senatorial, and representative outcomes of electoral district number 4 Nimba County elections conducted recently. I will begin, and my colleague, Commissioner Awa, will join me. Nimba County, 736 polling places of the total of 736 polling places, constituting 100%. Alberton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 6,128, constituting 2.64%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 138,070, constituting 59.53%. Brown Junior Allen R. LRP, votes obtained 3,501, constituting 1.51%. Cummings Alexander B. CPP, votes obtained 2,592, constituting 1.12%. Freeman Simeon C.M. MPC, votes obtained 2,481, constituting 1.07%. Gonglo Tiawan-Se LPP, votes obtained 70,024, constituting 7.34%. Kamara Senior Hussein F. Alpha, votes obtained 2,481, constituting 1.07%. Kiamon David G. B. DPPL, votes obtained 678, constituting 0.29%. Holly Alexander N. RNC, votes obtained 617, constituting 0.27%. Kuyate Sheikh A. LFM, votes obtained 781, constituting 0.34%. Kroma Bendu Alema Independent, votes obtained 842, constituting 0.36%. Miller Bridget Say LFP, votes obtained 380, constituting 0.16%. Maniba Clarence K. Lionel, votes obtained 397, constituting 0.17%. Morris Roberts Friends Independent, votes obtained 518, constituting 0.22%. Nyanti Sarah Beslow All, votes obtained 411, constituting 0.18%. Tweeder William Ware DNA, votes obtained 1,257, constituting 0.54%. Turner Joshua Tom, NLP, votes obtained 835, constituting 0.36%. Ria George Manning CDC, votes obtained 50,427, constituting 21.74%. Wapo Jeremiah said votes obtained 1,319, constituting 0.57%. Yofi Luther N. Rebuilders, votes obtained 1,191, constituting 0.51%. Total valid votes 231,930, constituting 100%. Total invalid votes 16,422. Total votes 248,352. I now invite Commissioner Awa to read the senatorial and representative votes from Nimba County District.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you the National Elections Commission's Progressive Tally Reports consolidated for the Senate, Nimba County, today, Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. The Senate, Nimba. 736 polling places of the total of 736 polling places, constituting 100%. Candidates. Johnson Prince Yomi, MDR, votes obtained 128,437, constituting the valid votes of 54.92%. Tayen Junior Nya, independent, votes obtained 56,651, constituting the valid votes of 24.23%. Dual Roland G, CDC, votes obtained 20,015, constituting the valid votes of 8.56%. That concludes the Senate Nemba County. We proceed with Electoral District 4, Nemba County. 84 polling places of the total of 84 polling places constituting 100%. Candidates: NCS Senior Ernest M. MDR, votes obtained 7,760, constituting the valid votes of 28.89%. Cardon Gompu L. CDC, votes obtained 7,755, constituting the valid votes of 28.87%. Kwanu Orlando M. NBC, votes obtained 2,047, constituting the valid votes of 7.62%. That concludes the returns from Nemba County. Madam Chair, I do this sentence.
Thank you, Commissioner Awa. Members of the press, the Commission, having completed the nationwide tally of votes with 100% of all polling places reporting, the following is the final presidential election outcome, which are now read. National Presidential Progressive Tally Report Consolidated. 5,890 polling places of a total of 5,890 polling places, constituting 100%. Alberton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 40,271, constituting 2.20%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 796,961, constituting 43.44%. Brown Junior Allen R. LRP, votes obtained 15,607, constituting 0.85%. Cummings Alexander B. CPP, votes obtained 29,613, constituting 1.61%. Fremont Simeon CM MEC, votes obtained 13,205, constituting 0.72%. Bonglo Tiawanse LPP, votes obtained 26,394, constituting 1.44%. Kamara Senior Musini F. Alco, votes obtained 35,988, constituting 1.96%. Kiamu David G. DPPL, votes obtained 5,086, constituting 0.28%. Polly Alexander N. RNC, votes obtained 4,398, constituting 0.24%. Kuyata Shek A. LFM, votes obtained 5,100, constituting 0.28%. Kroma Bendu Alema, independent, votes obtained 5,991, constituting 0.33%. Miller Richard C. LFP, votes obtained 2,885, constituting 0.16%. Manibar Clarence K. Lino, votes obtained 5,298, constituting 0.29%. Morris Robert Friends, independent, votes obtained 3,000 constituting 0.18%. Yanti Sarah Beslow Old, votes obtained 3,644, constituting 0.20%. Tweeder William Ware, DNA, votes obtained 11,184, constituting 0.61%. Turner Joshua Tom, NLP, votes obtained 9,813, constituting 0.53%. William George Manek, CDC, votes obtained 804,087, constituting 43.83%. Wako Jeremiah Z, votes obtained 9,149, constituting 0.50%. Yofi Luther N, Rebuilders, votes obtained 6,479, constituting 0.35%. Total valid votes 1,834,516, constituting 100%. Total invalid votes 114,639. Total votes 1,949,155. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the results of the 10th October 2023 polls show that the ticket of the Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, obtained the highest number of votes, 804,087, constituting 43.83%, followed by the ticket of Unity Party, which obtained 796,961 votes, constituting 43.44%. However, ladies and gentlemen of the press, Article 83B of the Constitution of Liberia requires that for any presidential ticket to win outright on the first ballot, that ticket must acquire at least 50% plus one of the valid votes cast. Article 83B further states that where no presidential ticket obtains at least 50% plus one, the two presidential tickets that receive the highest number of valid votes shall participate in a runoff election to be held on the second Tuesday following the expiration of the time provided for in Article 83C. With the results of the 10th October polls showing that no presidential ticket obtained 50% plus one vote, a runoff election is hereby declared to be held on Tuesday, 14 November 2023, between the two tickets that obtained the highest number of votes: the presidential ticket of the Coalition of Democratic Change, CDC, led by Mr. George Manawia, and the presidential ticket of Unity Party, UP, led by Mr. Joseph Newman Boyka. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, political campaign for the 14th November runoff election is hereby declared open today, 24th October 2023, and shall close on the 12th of November 2023 at 11:59 p.m. All of the results read can be found online, results at necliberia.org. I thank you.
Okay, folks, I'd like to say thanks so kindly for following. My name is Joseph Kepula here at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. As you heard from the chairperson, campaign for the runners-up officially begins today and will end on the 12th of November, AD 2023. Now it is questions and answered from journalists here in the hall.
Well, thank you, Madam Commissioner. Well, as per the various reports that came out of your many press actually on top. We get a figure.
We can get to the figures later, they're not before me, and I need to be exact.
Madam Chair, my name is Eric Kennedy and I represent Arja. Given all that we now know, including but not limited to challenges and the circumstances that attended the overturned pool, what lessons the Commission learned and what can you do differently, if anything, as we go through the runoff elections in November? Challenges including the problem we have with transporting materials to Sino County, people commandeering ballot boxes in Lima, and all of that stuff. So what is the Commission planning to do differently so that we don't encounter those problems again? Thank you.
You want me to answer you just once? I think basically, and this is unrehearsed, I think basically that one of the lessons that the Commission has learned is to ensure that all logistical options are on the table with respect to reaching out in which areas. In other words, we had to use boats to send some of our materials to the southeastern and northern region. Specifically boats for the southeastern region because of access to the ocean and additional rugged vehicles to reach to places like Lima and County.
Thank you. Madam Chair, my name is Henry Kamo and I represent the Foundation Africa. Madam Chair, my question is, with evidence provided by this commission, where you reported that NEC workers were arrested for malpractices, should or would you consider this a fair elections you just conducted, especially when your temporary workers were involved in malpractices? And should the public trust you for the runoff, especially when you will be using the same people, the same NEC workers?
I will answer your question by saying that we told you that the NEC workers in the Montserrat Tally Center as well as in Big Mount were caught and turned over to the police. That's one action that we took. The second action we took was to ensure that whatever malpractices they were engaged in were reviewed and corrected on the spot. And if you say whether this election is fair, I would say by the actions that we took to make corrections as we're going on, and the fact that we brought those problems to you and the Liberian people, and told you what corrective measures we put in place to address the different challenges that we have, I would say to you that the 2023 10th October elections were fair elections. Certainly, you should trust us today, tomorrow, and the day after.
All right, so Madam Commissioner, my name is Prince Mowa, and I report for Prime FM and focus on that area. So I have two concerns. One, now that the Commission has announced the final result and also the announced date for our runoff elections, this issue was experienced during elections today. People had valid voter cards, their names were captured in the FRR, but when the polling places, they were told that others have voted in place of them. Is the Commission aware of that? If so, what was responsible for that? And what can the Commission do so that we don't have the recurrence of that during the runoff elections? My second concern is we have recorded huge number of invalid votes, 14,000 plus
confused, did not know what to do. It looked too much for them, so they folded them without marking them, put them in the ballot box. Then, invalid votes also comes about when Liberians decide, and I'll put it this way, to be vexed with a candidate that they don't like and mark the person's face all over, sometimes they put some 4-letter words all over the faces. And I'm saying this because we have done a survey before, and we saw some of the things that Liberians put on those faces of candidates that they don't like. They don't want to see the person, so they want to scratch them off the ballot. Secondly or thirdly, some persons will mark outside of box completely. There are just multiple reasons. We've been criticized for not conducting enough CVE to ensure that voters will mark their ballots the way how they are supposed to. So we take that correction. We do our best next time. But also too, I would say that when we formulate the budget to address most of these things, those of us who criticize now should be the ones to say to the legislature, give the people the money. Because every step of the way that we take, we pay for it. So if we next time have to go from door to door to explain to Liberians how to mark the ballot, we need to be supported financially. Then finally, I will say that to address civic and voter education in the long term is to ensure that electoral information is integrated in the curriculum in all of the schools, including at the university level. So people get to know how to mark the ballot, they get to know their rights, and all of that. And they get to know not to be vexed with the candidate that they don't want to see. Because when you mark that ballot and you are vexed marking that ballot, you are simply saying, I score my ballot. Yes.
I was asking for people going to vote, and then they are captured in the FR, but then they went to the polls, the level first told them that somehow or other voted for them. We saw that.
This is something that is new to me personally, because I have been receiving reports from many things that happen in the field. Some of them I went and saw myself. This particular one that you're talking about is not before me, it's not before the commission. But probably it may be alluding to the fact that those who were multiple registrants were placed in the back of the FRR. That booklet has two parts. The first part is for Liberians registered genuinely in a particular polling place, so they come first. Then those who committed the crime of registering more than once are placed in the back of the FRR. So there are two parts. One part for the people and the other part for those who committed crime. If you come and bring your card and say you come to vote, you are checked in both parts. If you are found in part 1, you look in part 2. And if you are in part 2 will say where you first registered, and the election workers, direct interested like others have been, probably might want to come. What we try to control is that when you come as a journalist, write what you see and hear. You will not encourage reporters. So you can also come. That is the press and any other persons who you want to know. Then what was your next question? Claim the finger before the ink the finger before you cast the vote. Is that how you have to do it? Hold on, please. The most experienced commissioner in the area of field coordination.
Thank you. The reason why we ink before you cast the vote, well, when you cast the vote, that's the last aspect of the process. You have to make the sender. And the time you would take to drop your ballot into the ballot box, the ink are dry. And when the ink dry, it's a safe version ID you have voted. And the staff will monitor you while you are putting the ballot into the ballot box. Now the issue that you want to raise will be the stain. The stain will not affect the mark that person has placed on the ballot paper. No, it will not matter. Because once the ink is placed on your finger, it takes less than 3 seconds to happen.
Yeah, so talking about the numbers of in-ballot voters that are so huge and the kind of voters we have, there are recommendations coming from the public because at some polling centers, like old folks, like people who are not very literate about the voting process, in the process of polling, there are reports of this ink going through on other people. Now I'm asking whether the Elections Commission is considering that as maybe another approach of what to do, whether after the casting of ballots, to avoid this number of invalid votes during the second round.
But if the ink is placed on for instance on the ballot paper, the mark of that person, the intent of that person is known by the presiding officer. So it's not bound to invalid. It does not bound to invalid.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The reason why we ink before you cast the ballot nowadays is that some people refuse to get inked. And once you shall have cast your ballot, there's no way that we have a remedy. So that's the reason why I would say before you cast it, you are inked so that you don't return. And we agree with what you said, but during the training, we will see what to do to make sure that the ink does not spill. But from our experience, people get inked after they cast their ballot, or in the past, some people cast their ballot, you say, come, let's ink you. They say, no, you can't ink us. What do you do in that case? You cannot withdraw the ballot from the box. So that's the main reason why we have transitioned from inking after casting to inking before casting. I hope you understand.
In other words, we thank you for that recommendation and we will look into it.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I'm Nelson Colette, and I report for the Phone Network. I have 3 concerns. The first first one has to do with reports of trucking and another report of individuals purchasing voter registration cards. For the trucking and that, now, considering that elections are expected to be free, fair, and transparent, let's speak to the aspect that has to do with free. What is the National Elections Commission doing to ensure that these issues are addressed? And I made specific reference to a candidate in Brown County, Morgana Flomo, who was heard on the local media this morning, that he had issues with trucking and all of that. He reported to the National Elections Commission since July up to present. Is yet to receive a redress on that. What is, now that you've announced a runoff, how do you intend to address that situation? That's my first concern.
Okay, we put it in place.
Okay.
The issue of trucking, everybody's business here. Everybody's business. Because it's your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, get in a truck from one community and go to another community to where they do not reside. Elections Commission's mandate is register adherents as voters. Now, if we are to police people who were trucked, then it means that it's another mandate that we are delving into that is not prescribed by law. But we work with the LMP to ensure that the law that says you should register and vote, register the way you ordinarily reside, and it's in that same place that you are going to vote. We all should strive to ensure that this happens. And it's not the business alone of the commission. This is a very difficult situation that any election finds itself in. And either we go back to the law for it to be revised to ensure that people who get in trucks, motorbikes, bicycles, some people can even move without riding any of those things. And they move in mass from communities. Now you know the difficulty in checking that. So maybe we need to petition the legislature to strengthen the law that speaks to trucking, and then perhaps all of us might be satisfied that the rest of us remain in our communities. Secondly, I would say to you, even in our advocacy, the awareness raising about people's rights to vote and to use the law as it says, you should register where you ordinarily reside, and it's that same place that you vote has been one of the key messages we have targeted different communities and to speak about in those civic and voter education exercises that we have conducted. Now, the issue about, you say people purchasing voter cards?
There are reports of that.
There are reports. So these reports, the NEC cannot substantiate them. You can substantiate these reports. But it's against yourself to sell your card. It's against yourself to give your card to anybody else other than you. Sure. Because it's with that card that you can exercise your franchise, you can make that decision to vote for who you want to be your president, your senator, and your representative. If you want to give your card to somebody else, that person cannot use the card because the person is not you. But the person buying your card can prevent you from voting. So we all need to be aware of this and I don't know, talk to our brother, sister, auntie, uncle, you know, the children.
And the last two concerns. Okay. So we saw that from the start of this process, for the first time, the BVR, the biometric voter registration, was introduced. What significant impact did that BVR have on this process to sort of curb the malpractices and all of that? And what's the status of the payment of those temporary staff? The last time we spoke of it, where are we now? Are they being paid?
The staff are being paid. your unique information, your unique feature, your face, the thumbprint, and the rest of the other information on your card. Your face and your thumbprint, even if you were a twin, will be different. Nobody else is you. That is so important. The BVR also was significant because yes, one person, one card. One person, one card. As we expect, one person, one card, one vote.
Why did we get to a cleanup? One person, one card, why did we get to a cleanup?
The cleanup was necessary because some of our relatives went and registered more than once.
Yeah, how did
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Jonathan J. Skelton, and I report to our Master's Team Nigeria. In one of the press briefings, you mentioned that some of those who were to go at polling places on election day, they did not go, they didn't show up, so they were replaced by other people. And I visited a few of the counties. Voters had issue with those who were assigned to fill some of those. One, the person couldn't identify or keep, even if you want to do when it comes to somebody being pregnant, who's still online for 8 hours. Other people as well were not prioritized. And one of those places, somebody stood online in the morning, went to the person and said, "Is this one online?" He said, "Yes." Only for the lady to reach at the door, almost 5-6 hours standing. They said, "No, you are not here, you are at the other place," which raised serious contention. What is the election doing, the election commission doing for such a thing not to occur in the runoff?
We will do everything humanly possible to train the staff to do the right thing. So probably what you may have experienced was unique to that person who was supposed to recognize persons' disabilities as well as pregnant women and others. So I would say that was just one case. Next question, please.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner and all commissioners. My name is Moses from the BBC. One very important question. We said the second Tuesday after the legislative period for the first ballot. But the second Tuesday is not the 14th of November. Why? Is there any reason why?
The reason is every electoral or elections that happens, there is something in the law that says you need to give a period for people to digest what you have pronounced. And if at all someone is not satisfied, they can raise contention. So you need that 70 in. So then you start counting. Understand what I'm saying? You start counting.
But the law says the Constitution is the organic institution that governs everyone.
That is so correct. But we also have Supreme Court opinions that we look to and we make the decisions. And we let them to make the decisions here in the commission. Next question, please.
Thank you. My name is Gerald, coordinator director from East Africa. I want to follow up on a few of the questions you asked last week. One is about your data analyst that was accused of being partisan, and actually you said CDC who filed the accusation was yet to appear for the hearing. Did it appear? If no, what happened to your data analyst? Was he recused for the process entirely, or he was allowed to do his work?
Let me answer that question. Let me answer this. We told you that a complaint was filed by the CDC to the commission. That complaint is being
processing. The second part is that normally when somebody complains against you, you continue your work until the process reaches the point where you have to either recuse themselves. But let me also say that in the data center, we told you before that we had consultants, experts. We had 2 from the AICO, 2 from ECOWAS, 2 from UNDP. Now the way it works inside it is that everyone gets a buy into what a problem is or a contention, and all of them decide before processing the data. So it's not just one person calling the shots. Yes.
Thank you. So finally, last week you mentioned that the Commission already has the budget for the possible runoff, and now you have announced a runoff. What is the budget for the runoff?
We'll give you that figure in due time. So we take another 4 questions and we'll call it a day.
My name is Steve and I report for local forces at the Madam Chair, what's the level of coordination between the state security and the NEC? Because during the recent election, some of us journalists were denied access to some of the polling places on the order of 1 or 2.
I can assure you that the Commission will continue to provide that information to the LP that you have accreditation and you should be allowed.
My name is Tina S. Mary. I report for the Daily Observer newspaper. We follow up to the invalid vote question. So I would like to know whether the invalid vote was recorded will be audited to know whether it was as a result of overthinking or it was just because voters didn't like certain candidates and we messed up the ballot papers.
We explained in a previous question that it's the usual procedure or process that the National Elections Commission engages in to do a survey after these elections to know why we have this number of invalid votes. And once that is done, we'll share it with you.
Madam Commissioner, thank you so much for the hard work. My name is Archie Boan, and I report for the television. I have 2 concerns, and one has to do with those electorate that were involved in double voting. Since the onset of the provisional results of pronouncement, we have been here from the election commissioners as it relates to those who were involved in the double voting. Since then, have you observed any case and how far you have gone with those cases? Because when we were in the field, we observed a lot of cases of those that were involved in the double voting. And for transparency's sake, I think it is prudent enough for the National Elections Commission to flag this issue out, because this alone will put fear in those who be electors who will be involved in that. And my second concern. Yeah, so the second question is, before I go to the second question, so you are alluding that since then there have been no case of double voters.
No, I just told you that if we get those complaints, we'll deal with that.
Okay, now to the second issue.
Because if you complain, formally, it becomes legal. It becomes a legal process. So when we get through that, we'll let you know. Okay, the second concern has to do with most of the startups that are assigned to those polling places. They are not aware of the fact and the role that journalists play when it comes to the elections period. I'm saying to say, we journalists were denied of entering into polling rooms when they were counting and voting. We were already informed that we are not allowed to carry our camera to a voting booth, but we were denied by our staffers from entering into the polling rooms to observe how the elections are being conducted. So I want to know as to whether there is any formal education provided to the staffers on the role of journalists in or during the election period.
say that the journalist team should know the do's and the don'ts. During the electoral process, we encourage journalists to go around because journalist is a moving person who go around and observe the process. But when it comes to the counting and polling process, the observers, that is accredited to that particular center, and what are in that center to observe the counting and polling process, and counting and sorting and reconciliation process. Because when something happens down there, you who roaming around the area, you don't know exactly what happened down there. You're not be reporting the facts as compared to someone who has been there from the morning up to the time counting, reconciliation, and sorting will be taking place. So again, the issue about the do's and don'ts is very important. Some of the journalists, very good professional people, but some of the journalists will just go to the center and look at the police and say, I'm a journalist. I need answer to this thing. And some of the journalists were even reporting live while the thing was taking place. So the do's and the don'ts are very important in the process. We don't have problem with you going through the process to observe what is taking place there. But when it comes to the issue of sorting, reconciliation, and counting, that's a dedicated issue, and people, that's what we encourage the party agent, the independent candidate, the national, international, to be there so that when anything happens, that it can be easily solved as compared to you moving around. You know, you don't have the fights about what has taken place there. Sometimes the little issue that occurred there, the presiding officer has already solved that problem. You can't say, I'm a journalist, I want to go back to the So sometimes some of the journalists can go stall the process. And I don't think it's a good proceeding. We encourage you, and that's why when you are moving around as a journalist, go to the presiding officer and say, presiding officer, I'm assigned to this polling place. I want to be there for counting, reconciliation, and sorting. At that point in time, you're not a journalist, but rather you are an observer, and you are there to observe the process. But when you carry your tie on the polling and counting procedure as a journalist, then you can, then sometimes the presiding officer will follow the do's and don'ts and say, oh, can you please leave because this place is a sign of Popo and a sign as a party agent, independent candidate.
Are you saying I'm
saying when you are a journalist, time for counting, sorting, and reconciliation, you are to tell the presiding officer from the beginning and say, I will be here for the counting. And at that time, you are not a journalist, you are an observer.
Hello, please. I can understand because I worked 20 years as a broadcast journalist. I understand exactly where you come from. But let me say to you that we usually conduct training for journalists to cover elections. So we will remember now that it's critical to process you in the training so you can know, or you will be able to know what your needs and bounds are in terms of how journalists can participate or to cover elections, how far you can reach into the polling place and all that kind of information that is needed. So I guarantee you that this will happen. Because
it run off? It will happen before it run off?
My friend, I didn't recognize you. I am assuring you that we do something about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the agitation, don't worry about it. It's good.
Yes, sir.
Someone take a final question. Well, of course, my name is George Robinson Jr. For working in the commission. Thank you also for the hard work. So I would like to know from you exactly looking at some of the electoral malpractices, how does that actually fit that with your strengths and your weakness?
So I would say that our weakness. You understand what I'm saying? If we employ temporary staff, we train them to do a particular job. They go to do the job and they deviate from it. The thing is, it's not a commission that told them to go do that. They decided to do something otherwise. And this is why we told you that yes, they are under the elections commission in terms of the temporary staff to conduct the elections, you understand? But they deviated from those instructions that we gave them. And this is why they found themselves being arrested by the police, incarcerated, and on their way to court which they get. But I'm saying to you, 32,000 Liberians
like to say thanks to you
Okay,
for
so
coming.
folks, I'd like to say thank you so kindly. My name is Joseph Kepula, who has been here bringing you a live coverage of this all important